My name is Denise Altieri, and I reside in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. This board of directors likely believes that you know who my husband is, but just as you are sadly mistaken about what your role should be to the North Penn School District community, you don't have any idea who my husband really is. When my husband asked me for my input on whether he should run for school board or simply just focus our attention on pulling our child from North Penn School District, I really didn't know how to answer. After some thought, I asked my husband, why wouldn't you run? I pointed out to him that I could already see how passionate he is about the concerns of many in this community. For the record, his concern is that the lack of transparency in the political agenda of this school board has led to the undeniable slide in North Penn School District's school rating. My husband's answer to my question surprised me. My husband told me that because the board of directors is so concerned with their own agenda that they would not shy away from attacking anyone that supported him on a personal level. Trust me, my husband could care less if you attack him. While no person is perfect, your attacks on him will not deter him. Rather, your attacks will only strengthen his conviction. But what might have deterred him is your attacks on the people that he loves, those that aren't in position to defend themselves. That is where my husband's heart really is, defending those that aren't in a position to defend themselves. My husband stands up to this board because he despises the lack of transparency. My husband has zero agendas or political motivations when it comes to children and parenting. This board of directors does, and that concerns us greatly. This is also exactly why this community needs my husband on the board of directors. He will hold each of you accountable. As it stands now, this board of directors is like the secret police with an agenda of disrespecting and shutting down parents after 3 minutes. On a personal note, I want to address you, Mrs. Stoll, not as an elementary school teacher for more than 25 years, but as a parent and a mother. My husband gave you ample opportunities to address a school nurse when she told my impressionable child that she should be vaccinated. As the president of the North Penn School District, and most importantly, as a mother, you ignored my husband until he was forced to call you out in public. At that point, you doubled down and condoned this action. Just as you have no right to silence parents after 3 minutes, provide your opinion on gun control, or to support statements that virtual learning is effective, and as an educator, I know it's not, just to name a few. How dare you allow anyone to parent my child? Again, as a mother and a parent, your actions are unacceptable, and I personally will never forget what you allowed. As my husband often states, what you allow, you teach.
Thank you, Ms. Altieri. Mrs. Braccio? Mrs. Braccio, did you want to come?
Good evening. My name is Pauline Braccio. I live right here in Tomlinson Township. And I'm really happy that you guys are here tonight because it was an easy drive for me. I didn't really have anything prepared, and I'm glad that I didn't, because it leaves me open to back up what Mrs. Altieri said. I think the biggest issue that the school board has is that you are allowing teachers, nurses, and other staff members to talk to the children and the students behind parents' backs. You're not transparent at all. We already know you have an agenda, and it's a terrible agenda because it's really not your business what children want to do and want to be. It's up to their parents, not you. You are really nobody to these children. And the fact that you have such a, how can I say it? Liberal, which is too vague a word, but you have a specific agenda to actually indoctrinate these children to believing things that they would not ordinarily believe, and also forcing them into situations that they don't need to be forced into. I was very impressed with the North Penn high school students who came up here and spoke, because it just showed you how just having a program that they can join and they can participate in, they actually make friends with each other without having to be forced into CRT or DEI or SEL or any of those other ridiculous initial things. they can actually become friends with each other on their own if you just give them the platform to do that, or the program to do that, the program being sports or arts and crafts or whatever other kind of imaginative thing they can do. Children, students, even teenagers will get along just fine if you leave them be. Just give them opportunities to be themselves. You don't have to force things down their throat. You don't have to talk behind their parents' back. You don't have to talk them into being one gender or another, or being gay or not. Whatever they are, they are. Let them be who they are. And as I said, just give them the opportunities that apparently they can have here, and they will get along just fine. Everything else is just your interference and you're wanting to control and handle everything. It's really not your business. The only business you actually have is giving these children an education. That's it. Their lives outside of school is their business and their parents' business, their family's business. So all I'm asking you to do is butt out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Braccio. Is there anyone else who would like to make public comment this evening? Good evening, Mrs. Flannery.
All right. So I'm Vicki Flannery. I'm the chapter chair of Montgomery County Moms for Liberty. I'm also a North Wales resident. Over a year ago, I came to you all with a discovery a parent made in their child's school here in this district, Oak Park Elementary. This book, titled All Boys Aren't Blue, an extremely graphic tale of incest and rape between a boy and his much older relative, was read by me to you, the board. I had mentioned during my speech that this parent, upon finding the book, had immediately called the principal of the school, and he had the book swiftly removed from shelves, an action confirmed by, at the time, Assistant Superintendent Todd Bauer. I appreciated this action, and I still do. Recently, a calculated and disgusting attack was launched upon my chapter by a member of this board. Christian Fusco wrote an absolutely defamatory article in order to paint Moms for Liberty in a bad light. I'm not sure yet if it's for votes, accolades, virtue signaling, or all of the above. But what I do know, Mr. Fusco, is that you are completely wrong. Moms for Liberty supports all students, including LGBTQ+, in their right to a free and fair education. We have no intent to, quote, disenfranchise any students. What we do not support is the exploitation of students in any group for a political purpose, like you have. We do not support calls for violence by anyone in the community or outside of it, like you suggested in your article. We cannot and will not justify pornography being placed on shelves in school under any circumstances, unlike you do in your article. We do not support a call for the banning of any books. We would, however, like to see a policy change that allows us, the parents, to see, know, and decide which books should be allowed within our children's schools, and remove anything inappropriate as defined by Pennsylvania law. We need to focus less on hypersexualizing our students, including the LGBTQ+, in schools, and focus more on raising our test scores and school ranking, which has been on a double-digit decline since the 9 of you took office. Moms for Liberty wants to positively and respectfully engage with you, the administration, and all of the wonderful educators within this district for the betterment of all of our students. Again, we support all parents and their rights in ensuring that their child receives the best academic and least politically indoctrinated education. Thank you.
Jason Lear, Lansdale. I'm going to try to tie some of this together with the presentation you had at the work session. Talking about rankings and trying to sort of reiterate what was said before. Prior to you guys taking office, we were ranked 11th in PA. We're currently 47th. 47th, we've dropped that far. And the solution you guys come up with isn't to double down or try to help kids that need additional help. It is to introduce things like DEI and CRT or SEL or equity and inclusion. And you go so far as to add this to the hiring process. So instead of hiring people who are qualified, you forget that and hire people who have, and I quote, the ability to support a culture of equity, diversity, and inclusion. So less qualified, more inclusion. Is that how we're to understand it? And what have we had? We have had dropping academic standards. It shows in the PSA or the Pennsylvania's I guess this Department of Education. We're right. We have a 58% compliance or proficient in math. 58%. And your solution isn't to double down on trying to give kids better education. It's to build a huge high school with a ninth grade center. Now, a ninth grade center might be needed, and that certainly the high school needs to be repaired. But it was clear to me at that meeting that all of you have already decided that you want to do the full renovation, the $400 million renovation. And do you know what that means for the taxpayer? That's a debt load service of $800,000 for the ninth grade center and the high school renovation. $800,000. Sorry, $800 million. $800 million. And if you include all of the capital improvement projects you have for the other schools, the increases in salary that we're talking about, in this same time period, you're going to be well over $1 billion in debt service for the taxpayer. And we're to believe this is going to somehow better the education by building these huge cathedrals for learning. There are plenty of schools not far from here who don't have huge swanky buildings, that don't have lots of open spaces, that don't need to go to newfangled ways of introducing education. When we introduce these newfangles, we drop in performance. We look at other schools, you look at schools, LC or Christopher Dock, they don't have these sorts of things, and they're doing much better than we are. So I think this needs to be clear how much money that you guys want to spend for a reason that is not good for not necessarily good for the education of students. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there anyone else that would like to make public comment this evening?
My name is Joyce Snyder. I'm a citizen of Talmenson. I wanted to take the time to thank each and every one of you for the incredibly large amounts of volunteer hours that you have spent in the last 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, however long you've been volunteering. And quite honestly, I've lost track. But I know that all of you have been working very hard for a very long time to create better education. And I know that my 4 children, one of whom graduated before any of you were ever elected, 2 of whom graduated before you were ever elected, have all benefited from that. And I just wanted to say thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Snyder. Is there anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we will move on then to the approval of the minutes from February 16th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. I have a second.
Couple of problems with the current minutes. One, again, there's no minutes showing the meeting that you guys had on March 2nd, 2003. And I'm not even sure why it's not even being discussed. But when you look at what the definition of a meeting is, according to the OOR, you guys had a meeting on March 2nd, 2003.
Mr. Lanier,
You discussed
your
business.
objection is noted. It was not a meeting. It was a campaign event. We are allowed to meet in public.
And you're allowed to
And
discuss in a
we did
quorum,
not.
you are not.
We-
Not a
we-
quorum to
So
discuss
your objection
school
is
board
noted.
business.
Do you have any other objections?
So what
Do you
I,
have any other thing to object to? Do
Do you have
any-
any other objections?
I have also an objection in the fact that the committee report for personnel is not included. And therefore it cannot be voted on. It was not included. Maybe it has been now, but it wasn't included as of 24 hours ago.
Your objection is noted. Anything else?
That's not true.
It was not included. There's a number of people up here who can testify the fact that it was not on the There was no link to it. There was no nothing. I'm not saying anything about the other reports, but the personnel was not added, so it should not be voted on.
Just to clarify, the personnel committee report,
That's correct.
there is no vote.
There is no vote on that. And there's no personnel meeting on our committee report. There's no personnel report.
Sorry, it was the personnel contracts. Is that what it is? Superintendents? Messed that one up.
Well, if you have no further objections,
You're
can you please
asking
take a
us, but
seat.
you don't understand.
It's not, if it's not there, you can't vote on it.
It was there.
Is there-
Not that I saw.
All right, hold on a second. Just give me a minute. I think I know what you're speaking of, Ms. Villanere. So there was a point, Dr. Kim, can you forward me that document from Board Docs again? I just can't find it right now. So the Personnel Committee attachment was posted with the agenda yesterday. It was taken down for a brief period of time because there was a editorial change, a mistake on the agenda. So perhaps that's what he's talking about. But I have a log of when it was posted, taken down and replaced. There were a few minutes when it was removed because something was wrong, Mr. Summers.
Sure. Okay. And so the objection is with regard to that being posted.
Last night and this morning, and it was not there.
And at this moment, the agenda does include a personnel report. It is
The
present.
contractual item that, okay, so, but 24 hours prior, that can't be.
It was, just to be clear, Ms. Lanier, it was posted 24 hours well in advance. There was a period of time where it was taken down because I believe a salary or a step for a year was wrong and it was fixed and reposted.
And the Sunshine Act does require that the agenda include a list of all matters. The matter of personnel certainly was on the agenda that was posted.
Thank you, Mr. Summers. Any further objections? Mr. Linear, your objection is noted. He responded. I would like to
Not
get on with
really.
our committee report.
I'd like to move on.
So we'd like to get on with our approval.
710 said that you guys get to make your own rules, correct? 0006, you get to make your own rules, yet you don't follow your own rules, which has to do with Robert's Rules of Orders. You do not take the objection to the entire board and ask whether or not they will accept or deny the change to the agenda and or the policy, yeah?
Okay.
So you need to do that.
The process that, as I understand it, is our council suggests whether or not any of these things require a vote. And to date, you haven't come up with one yet. So I'll defer to my council.
Mr. Linear, can we please get
Can
on
we
with it?
please start this meeting, sir? We have actual community business.
There's
to
no,
address.
So do you have any further objection? I understand your objection relative to asserting that there was a meeting that was not properly held. And the response to that was that there was no meeting in accordance with the Sunshine Act. I understand that's your objection. Then you indicated that there was not an attachment included to one of the agenda items. Do you have any further objections beyond that?
That
What
you
is your
have-
other objection?
The other objection is that you actually have to sustain whether or not that is a true challenge, and then that it will be adopted into the agenda items, or it will not. Would
Okay,
you-
I understand. You're concerned with the procedure for responding to objections. Do you have any further objections beyond that? Okay,
address the
that
issue.
concludes your objection. So with regard to the objections that were raised, my recommendation is to proceed with the meeting. I do not believe that any of the matters that were raised constitute legitimate Sunshine Act violations.
thank you, Mr. Summers. Okay, moving on. So I have a motion to.
So are you raising a Sunshine Act objection? Okay, that doesn't constitute an objection under the Sunshine Act. You're not asserting any particular section that's been violated.
Okay. Mrs. Braccio, we're moving on to the approval of the minutes. Okay, Mr. Summers already made his ruling, so we have a motion. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. There's no further comments or questions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That now?
I would suggest doing that now. So the motion would be to amend the agenda to include the personnel items as they are currently posted on board docs under item 7A personnel.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And I would, before taking a vote on that item, Madam President, make available public comment on this specific item only with regard to amending the agenda to include that attachment.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Does anyone want to make public comment at this time?
I mean, because it wasn't posted prior to me coming here. So,
It was posted.
I mean, you want to give some time to allow people to read what you posted.
Yeah,
If
so
you-
it was posted at last evening at 5 o'clock.
And it was at last evening at 11 o'clock, it was not on the website.
I don't know what to tell you, Mr. Lanier. It was posted
The-
last night at 5 o'clock.
I
It was
will tell
posted
you-
again this afternoon.
I will tell you
At
that
2 o'clock.
sometimes, I've talked with Mr. Rocky about this, if it's not made visible. So even though it's been posted, if it's not made visible in board docs, it's not available for anybody to see. We had this issue with the minutes a number of times. I sent him a list of
So
35 minutes that we're not able
So-
to see.
Dr. McKenna, please just start the timer. This is public comment, so Mr. Lanier is welcome to comment for 3 minutes.
I haven't been able to see the report, so I have
we-
nothing to say on that.
Can we table this motion until the end and let Mr. Lanier go read it while we do the other committee business or vote on it?
So the motion that is being made right now is just to add this to the agenda. So it is not actually the vote on the item itself. Certainly, the board could vote on that item last.
So Mr. Lanier, why don't you go read it and we will go on with the rest of the voting on the other matters. And we will come back to that.
If you need an iPad, I have one that you can read it on.
I appreciate that.
Who's got his eye?
Well,
Okay,
Are there any other comments with regard to amending the agenda?
great. So can we move on to the superintendent's report?
So, Madam President, there's been a motion, a second, an opportunity to comment. And my recommendation is to vote on amending the agenda to include under item 7A as an attachment, the attachment that is currently posted on board docs as the personnel agenda.
Right, so we have a motion on the floor and we're going to table it till the end.
Yeah.
right?
We get to
To
vote
amend
now.
Okay, all right.
The added.
All right,
agenda.
okay, good. All right, so motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Bauer?
Sure. So I recommend the items as included in the consent agenda, which is adoption of policies, repeal of policies, adoption of policies for a first read, contracts, student travel, approval to advertise for bids and requests for proposals, approval to advertise for bids, workforce retention grant 2.0, student agreements, and alternative placements.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
What is your objection?
You have an illegal statute. That is,
well,
as much as Mr. Bauer is a good guy, he cannot be the 10th member of the school board.
Okay, a right to make an objection during a meeting is only objections under the Sunshine Act. Do you have a Sunshine Act objection?
Okay,
Okay,
Mr. Lanier, please have a seat. We have.
you've not indicated any objection under the Sunshine Act.
Okay,
Okay, you are not alleging any violation at this moment of the Sunshine Act. And what is it?
You're violating your own policy. 710
Okay,
refers to
a
006.
concern about following policy is not a Sunshine Act objection.
thank you, Mr. Summers.
You've had an opportunity to comment and your objection has no validity.
Mr. Lanier.
Mr.
please
Lanier,
have a seat.
Mr. Resch just gave you his device. You could look it up yourself and see what it says. We have other business to address.
Mrs.
We
Bauer,
have the community business to
Mr.
get
Lanier,
to.
have a seat.
And you're using this obstruction, you're using this to obstruct. You're using this process in the law to obstruct the community's business. And frankly, I'm getting a little tired of it. The fact that you don't understand certain things about this process is not a reason to slow down these meetings.
Mr. Lanier, have a seat, please. I
You,
have, yeah, we are.
Yes.
civil. We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second, please?
Yeah,
Okay.
somebody said.
Mr. Rush seconded. There's no further comments. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Lanier?
Yeah, thanks for reviewing that and giving me an opportunity to comment. Mr. Rush was kind enough to let me read his version or read it on his iDevice. I'm not sure what that was. In any event, read through that, didn't have a lot of questions about that. Did want to also go back to the policy 011. Not to me, it seems like if you are going to pass a policy, which you guys did, you should follow your policy. Your policy 011 says, collaborate with the superintendent, acknowledging their role as the 10th member of the school board commission officer of the Commonwealth. Dr. Bauer is a nice guy. I don't have a problem with Dr. Bauer necessarily. Dr. Bauer cannot be a member of the school board. It says it specifically.
I'm just gonna say that is like common language that's used throughout all school boards. He's a non-voting member is what he's considered.
It-
10th member.
it
Any
does not say
superintendent is
a-
considered the non-voting 10th member of a school board.
Mr. Lanier, that's the
Basically
case in every
historical.
school district in the
Does-
state.
Yeah,
of
It does
every-
not say non-voting member, see, and that's
officio.
understood. Not allowed to be a school board member.
He's not.
He's not.
Well,
Nope.
you wrote a
Like to.
policy saying he was. So, that aside,
Mr. Lanier, this
Meant to be in the
opportunity is
spirit
just
of
to comment on the.
collaboration.
actually, you cannot hem in language when there's public comment.
Yeah, absolutely. This public comment opportunity is solely on the added item, the personnel report that was
Personnel
added to this agenda. There's already been an opportunity for public comment on other items that are before the board or may come before the board. This opportunity is solely to comment if there are any comments that anyone has on the personnel agenda as it's been amended and added to the agenda.
So you are not permitted to hem in language based upon you can't conspire my language. You can't constrict
Sir,
my
the
language.
board provided an opportunity for public comment.
Right.
There was an amendment of the agenda to add the personnel item. So there's an additional comment period being afforded to anyone who has specific comments on that item that was added. That's your opportunity now. Do you have any further comments on the personnel report?
But you're not allowed to do that.
You absolutely are. And if you're free to disagree with that, but that's
Can
the
you
the
quote for
recommendation
me,
to the
can you
board.
quote for me the where you're allowed to do that?
The board has fully complied with the Sunshine Act by affording you an opportunity to comment.
I'm familiar
on
with the
items,
Sunshine Law.
and
Where
you've had that
are you
opportunity.
allowed to constrict
My
my
recommendation to the
language?
board is that the board has met this requirement. Is there another individual who wishes to comment on the personnel report?
I'll take a vote. Let's just vote on it.
There's another, I believe there's another comment.
All right, 20 seconds and we're voting on it. Your comments are supposed to be on the personnel item, not on the policy.
What I'm allowed to speak
Well,
about.
actually, in this case, I can because this is what the
Actually,
public
you
comment is
can't.
specifically designed to address. That's
Actually,
what
you
this
can't
public
because
comment,
there's
which is not on the agenda, is for. This is also in
Yeah.
policy.
I'm getting into a
No,
debate.
we're not. Let's,
It's not for
it's
debate.
over.
Your time
Let's
is up.
vote.
Have a seat, please.
There's another public comment.
There's another public comment I'd like to hear.
Who else
Thank
would like to make public comment?
Mrs. Blackstone.
I didn't see.
I missed public comment, but I guess this is personnel, everything included. Funny how you speak of the RISE Act. I'm currently in the process of making the painstaking decision to pull
Again,
my.
this opportunity is,
I understand that, but this is but personnel. I'm speaking about the personnel that has failed my child. Am I not allowed to speak about that?
Has to be about the personnel committee report.
Am I not allowed to speak about that?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Painstaking decision to pull my nonverbal son from North Penn. We have a school that offers anything you could imagine. Why can't we meet his needs and others like him? I have put him on a bus 45 minutes. I'm going to put him on the bus 45 minutes away to get his needs met. That is not excellence. I know you're all tired of hearing about these issues, the failures and the painstaking decisions we have to make for our children every day. Just think how it feels for us parents who have to live it every day, worrying about their child's outcome. How about we take a detour on the 21st century bus to the future to find what alternative placements are doing and implement it here? Our high out-of-district placement spending millions is a key indicator that our schools are not meeting the needs of our whole community. We are now in a healthcare business. When will we be in the business for all children? Where are their allies?